5 things that will make you successful. The problem with the educational system, whether at the compulsory education level or at the university, is that they fill us with rote information that really does not serve us in life, and they do not teach you how to be successful. The educational system teaches you to be a submissive citizen and dependent on the government. To get out of this trap and achieve success, I will teach you 5 things that will make you successful. 1. In traditional jobs you exchange your time for money, which will never allow you to achieve success, so the first thing you should do is to exchange your creativity for money. The results that you can achieve through a traditional job are results that will condemn you to mediocrity, because your growth will always be very limited and possibly will not even exceed the increase in the cost of living in the country. If you stop selling your time to make money and instead start using your creativity, you can achieve infinitely greater results, because you will no longer depend on the time you dedicate to an activity to make money. As Robert Kiyosaki said, there are 4 types of economic actors: the employee, the self-employed, the entrepreneur, and the investor. The first 2, both the employee, who works for others in a traditional job, and the self-employed person who works on his own account offering his professional services, both exchange their time for money. Instead, the last 2, both the entrepreneur, who is the owner of a business, and the investor, have broken with the rat race where time is the medium of exchange to make money. The big difference between these 2 methods of earning a living is that when creativity is your tool to make money, what you create are systems to make money, and those systems will be generating money for you on autopilot, even when you are not doing anything actively. Being an employee or being self-employed, you will only be generating income when you are actively working. The moment you stop working, the income ends. That is why you will always have the sword of Damocles hanging over your head of being fired, or that for any reason you can no longer work. For example, a family member of yours falls ill and you will have to take care of him, or whatever the reason may be. If you exchange your time for money, your income will be active. That is, it will exist only while you are active. At this moment, I want to make it very clear to you that what I am explaining to you, that you should exchange your creativity and not your time for money, does not mean that it is easy and that it is not hard. No, not at all. In fact, probably at least in the beginning you must work harder than in a normal job, and it may be more difficult than having a job where you work for a boss. But with the difference that you will be working for yourself to create a system that will allow you automating processes and generating wealth without your direct intervention. This really is nothing new, nor does it necessarily have to do with the world of technology. All of this existed before Amazon, YouTube, Google, Facebook, and even before the internet itself existed. An example would be a company that sells vacuum cleaners. When you exchange your time for money, you are either an employee at a vacuum cleaner company, or you are self-employed who sells vacuum cleaners on your own. When you use creativity to make money, you work hard to create your own vacuum cleaner company. But once you have created it, you can detach yourself from the time factor, because you will have established systems and processes that work automatically even at times when you don't do anything. You have your company, you hire people, you delegate to your employees. Even when the time comes, you can stop running the company and also delegate management to someone else, but you will continue to enjoy the income that being the owner of a business that works will generate. 2. Make the most of the time spent. Everybody knows that each and every one of us has 24 hours a day. All the people who have ever lived on this planet, whether they were renowned historical figures like Alexander the Great, the Roman emperors, the Greek philosophers, the great inventors, or simply common mortals,
I'm Joe Biden's husband.
They have all had and have the same hours in the day. It depends on us how we use them. In fact, efficient use of time is one of the key issues to achieve success. There are those who spend all day watching TV, others have hobbies and different activities that consume a large part of their time, others simply do nothing. It is clear that we all need the following every day: eat and sleep. That is why you must divide your time between eating, sleeping, and the time you dedicate to entrepreneurship. And it is not only the time you dedicate but the efficiency in managing that time. That is why it is vital to avoid unnecessary distractions such as looking at the mobile phone all the time. If we have many contacts on the phone, we may constantly receive WhatsApp messages, and of course this can be the archenemy of efficiency and at the same time of your success as an entrepreneur if you spend the day watching the WhatsApp messages that you receive or reading emails. At this point, what you can do is to check the WhatsApp once a day, so you have control, not the WhatsApp. And it is not only the messages that we receive, but also all kinds of distractions. Whoever says WhatsApp also says anything to look at on the internet through the mobile phone. So if you are not disciplined in the use of time, you will never achieve the success you dream of. That is why it is very important that the daily hours you dedicate to your entrepreneurial activity you give 100% without distractions, because the opposite would be like cheating and you would be deceiving yourself. The same can be said regarding the human tendency to postpone things. The famous phrase, "Don't put off until later what you can do today," is never better said than it is for entrepreneurship. Eliminate the habit of postponing tasks completely from your life. Do what you can do now. Tomorrow there will be more things you will have to do, so do today's things before the day ends. If you don't follow this advice, the accumulation of tasks will probably condemn you to failure. However, I want to remind you of what I told you before. It is about dedicating the first phase of your business project to creating a system that will then work without your direct intervention. Once you have the system working, you will be able to delegate many of your tasks to other people, so you will no longer have to exchange time for money. But unfortunately, every entrepreneur has to go through the first phase where you have to create and design the system, which requires a lot of your personal time. But hey, at least the time is yours. That is, you are not working for a boss who tells you what your schedule is, but throughout the entire process you are the owner of your time. This is the wonderful thing about daring to be an entrepreneur. 3. Get to work. Don't wait for your product to be perfect. Many people make the mistake of waiting to reach perfection before launching their product. The desire to launch a perfect product is a great excuse to postpone the launch of your product. You must flee from this kind of perfectionism. In fact, there is a saying, which is very true, that if you wait until your product is perfect to launch it, you will have launched it too late. An essential step prior to launching any product is to do some type of market study. Its idea is to know what people want and search for, what their needs and desires are, in order to determine if what you are going to launch fits what the market wants. However, you can and in fact should merge these two phases, the market study and the launch, because once you launch a product that is not yet perfect, you will know from the comments that customers make if they liked it, what they would change, what they would improve, what they would add, etc. This helps you not to deviate in the design of the product. If you intend to launch a totally perfect product, it may be perfect in your opinion, but it does not respond to what your potential customers want. If, on the other hand, you launch your product even if it is not perfect, you will be able to adapt and perfect the product as you go, thus accommodating it to what your potential customers want. So you launch a first version of the product, you pay close attention to the feedback from your potential clientele, and you take into account all the comments and suggestions in the design of version number 2 of your product. In reality, you will never be able to have a product that everyone likes, which is why the perfect product is practically impossible to achieve. What you have to have as a goal is that your potential customers like your product. In reality, it is the interest of potential customers that should determine when to launch your product, and not whether it is perfect or not. If you launch the product before it reaches perfection, you will be able to bring your product to the market faster, and you will be able to enjoy a competitive advantage over your competitors. Therefore, launch your product when it is good enough to interest potential customers in your niche, and continue innovating to improve your product with customer feedback when you launch the version number 2 of your product. 4. Don't turn your back on your old friends. Have you ever heard that successful people are unsocial people who live alone, in isolation and without friends? Or that to achieve success you must give up your usual friends, because they are only obstacles on your path to success? Whether you have ever heard this or not, I tell you right now that it is a big lie. In fact, I would tell you that it is just the opposite. Let's say that you have your usual friends, maybe you have known each other since you went to school together or even before, and you say that you are going to give up on those friendships because since they are not on the same level as you, or they are satisfied with having a normal life, with a normal job and a normal salary, and instead you are going to look for new friends now that you are already successful, is a big mistake. If you have friends who have been friends for years, who perhaps have been with you since you were a child until now that you are an adult, those people are real friends. They have been there with you when you were still nobody in terms of success and remain your friends. If you decide to turn your back on your usual friends and look for new ones, you should know that anyone wants to be a friend and also a life partner of someone with money and success, but a friend and partner in quotes, because they don't value you for who you are, but for the success that you have. On the other hand, your usual friends value you now and valued you when you were not yet successful because they value you for who you are and not for what you have. In fact, Will Smith crystallized the same idea very well in other words when he said, "If you didn't accompany me during my most difficult moments, don't try to accompany me in my success." 5. Always try to improve yourself. Sometimes it seems that entrepreneurship is a career focused on competing with others and always being better than everyone else, but really the essential thing is that you strive to compete with yourself and always improve yourself day after day, to always be a better version of yourself. In the end, products come and go. Perhaps an entrepreneur launched his first product years ago. Possibly that first product is no longer relevant today. Later he will have launched many more products with the idea of always releasing better products than the previous ones. But this process of continuous improvements is not possible if you do not focus on improving yourself as an entrepreneur and as a person. In the end, your products are the result of your creativity. What we talked about before is that a successful entrepreneur does not exchange his time for money, but rather his creativity for money. Well, precisely that creativity is also the fruit of who you are as a person. If you invest in yourself, in your training, constantly, your creativity will also be better and your products will be better. And this is not only for you to be successful as an entrepreneur, but also for your development as a person, because what ultimately counts is not how good an entrepreneur you are, but how good a person you are. May you be an honest, fair, and upright person. This is true success. If you liked the video, give it a like, share it, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you won't miss out on any of the content that I publish. You can also leave your comment below.